Okay, we just did a oil change on this 2018 Camry. Now we're going to do the spark plugs. First thing you got to do is take off this beauty cover. It just kind of pulls off. Kind of a couple of snaps around. Kind of pulls off. There you go. There it is. See, it's got a couple of pins in there. Pull straight up, and then you have access to your 4 coils. Get a 10 millimeter. I think that's either 10 or 8. That looks like an 8 actually. 8 millimeter. Pull these electrode snaps off, and then make sure you keep these in the same order. They should be able to swap out, but just to make sure everything runs good after, just try to keep them in the same order. And then we'll get an extension ratchet down there and pull out those plugs. If you ever change your spark plugs out before, these little connectors that I'm trying to pull can be a little bit stiff on the plastic. Little trick is getting an adjustable wrench like that. Kind of just squeeze down on it, pull them right out. Make sure you just get it on the plastic, not the wire, and they should come right out like that. Just this little tab can be a little stiff on these. The other ones came out a lot easier than that. I don't know why that one gave me trouble. But the bolt is 8 millimeters. And we'll pull those out next. Just take them out like that. Kind of a long bolt, so but you just have, doesn't really take a lot of force. They're not on there really hard, nor should you tighten them to that with a lot of force. But they're just long threaded, just like that. So here they are with all the bolts out. So usually you just kind of twist and pull, and there they go. They just come straight out. Again, I like to keep them kind of in order. Not that it matters, like I said, but I just like putting things back the way they came out. There you go. Some guys will put the dielectric grease on there, on the end of them before they put the new ones in. These actually look good. You look at the points, see if they're burnt or anything. These look new or look good. So there's nothing wrong with them. There's that one. Yep. Looks okay. And then there's the spark plug down in there. So we'll have to get an extension and then a spark plug socket. And I'll show you what I have here kind of to help me pull these out. And for this part of the job, you need a ratchet, some good extensions. Invest in a set of these. The regular ones that come with a regular 2 sets like that, but you're probably gonna need a little bit longer. So might as well just go to Harbor Freight and get the set of 3. Another thing is that throughout the years, I've done a lot of these where you have like a long spark plug tube to get to. So when you get spark plug sockets like these here, one of them they always come with a little rubber bushing inside. So that's when you go to loosen them, the spark plug sticks to the bushing and you can pull out the spark plug. The only issue is that when you go to put them back in, if you have the bushing, it pulls the extension right out of the spark plug tool. So what I've done is I bought 2 of them, and I have one without the bushing inside. I pull it out and I leave the one in. So this one is for pulling out the spark plug, and that one's for putting it in. That way when I put it in, it slides right off and I don't lose the tool by disconnecting to the extension. So one thing, always make sure to get these from a reputable supplier, because I've gotten these off of Amazon, and you can see there's a lot of videos on Amazon about how there's fakes out there. I one time got them from Amazon. They were fake. They were not these long life iridiums. They just had copper on the end, and they only lasted a month. These are supposed to last 100,000 miles or more. So I got these from sparkplugs.com or right from Denso, same thing. They're not sponsored or anything, but that's the only place I trust nowadays. Also, another thing, your standard socket that you can have is like either a 9/8 or a bigger. These are not 5/8. These are, that's why you should always check on the new spark plug. These are, I think, 9/16. So I'm gonna have to go get some 9/16. These spark plugs are very small nowadays. So I'm gonna have to go get a 9/16. Just so you know, you have to have a 9/16 spark plug tool before you do this job. I had to run out and get 14mm, or as you can see here, 9/16. Like I said, I usually buy 2 of them, one to take the grommet out and one to leave the grommet in, so you don't have the extension disconnect when you pull it out, when you put in the new one. But look at this. Now they sell one with a magnet in it so that you can pull out the old one easily. But then this one comes with a swivel extension that doesn't disconnect. So you don't have that problem of putting in the new one and then your extension pops out from the socket. This was $14 versus the $8 for just the socket, but like I said, I would have bought 2 of them anyway, so this is well worth it. Nice. I go to a parts store again, had to get just a regular socket because that little black collar wouldn't fit in the tube of these Camrys. So if you have a Camry that's 18 or newer, that little collar won't fit in the tube. So you're gonna have to use a regular, 9/16 socket or 14mm. Here's what the old one that came out looks like. That's the new one. I like to match to make sure the model numbers are the same. FC16HR. I think these were actually upgraded, so hold on. Focus. FC16HR. This was a Q8. I think there was a Q6. The one that came out of there was a Q6. So no, Q8. Same exact thing. Iridiums. So again, just double check the model number. These are pre-gapped, so you don't need to gap them. And just take a look and see if they're actual iridiums. Sometimes they're not. And like I said, make sure you get them from a reputable manufacturer or salesman. Even if you get, I heard people getting them from like AutoZone fake too, so they get fooled. Putting these in, you want to make sure they're centered. You might even want to turn them backwards and then turn them forwards to try to make sure that you're not cross-threading them. And then just kind of hand tighten it until you feel it resistance on it. It's going to be a couple of turns, probably somewhere between 5 and 10, and then go in with your ratchet and then tighten it to the specified tightness. I kind of know it by feel. Once I feel that little crush washer go down. Some people put anti-seize on the threads too. These are like 100,000 mile plugs, so I don't think I'll need them. Removed all the old plugs and put the new ones in. Kind of cleaned up the area with some silicone. Put some silicone on the end of these too, silicone spray. Don't use WD-40, that's not a lubricant, it's a solvent, but silicone spray works well. So just put this back in. Put these back in there, one by one again. Make sure your connector's not in the way. There you go. My framing is not good today. Put those back in. Then we'll tie down that nut, connect those. Put in all those bolts in by hand and then tighten them by hand. Just kind of snug them down. Now we're just gonna reconnect all these clips, electronic connectors. Where's that other one? There you are. And then I'm gonna start up the car, see if there's any issues with the way it runs. Shouldn't be, but just always good to check before you close everything up. Last thing to do is put that cover back on, and then we're good to go. Nice job. You guys just changed your spark. There you go. Running pretty well. It's a little louder because that high pressure full pump without the cover on it is pretty loud. That's what that tacking noise is. But otherwise, sounds perfect. I looked at the RPMs and they're steady. No check engine lights, we're good. Sounds like when that fuel pump isn't working. Much quieter. After the engine settles down, that high pressure fuel pump shuts off. Running with the cover back on. All set.